Okay, once again, I'm going to try to double stake a trap for a dirt hole set. It's a 175, has offset jaws, which are required by law for a trap this big, so that they don't come all the way together. That prevents foot from freezing if it gets real cold and you've got an animal in there, and that includes a dog, so you don't hurt them, because these big traps will catch a dog if he comes by. Once again, I'm going to file the notch, get the wax out of it, make sure your trigger's squared off, make sure everything's square, get the wax off the dog. Put my insulation under the pan to keep dirt from getting up in there and keeping the pan from going down. Alright, now we'll try to get to it here. I've already cleaned out my spots so you can see what I'm trying to set. I always want my pan to set level with the jaws. This one's up a little high, as you can see, so I'm going to tap it down, and then I'm going to pull it down to where it's pretty light trigger. It may be too light, it may go off on me. As you can see, it's now down to the point where the pan is just a little below the jaw. I'm going to go on and get my bait hole ready. I like to open it up as much as I can because it tends to close down on you when it gets wet at night and stuff. Just absorb moisture out of the air. I'm gonna try to put it where it's going to be hard for them to get all the way down into it. I like it to be at least 6 inches deep, and I really prefer it to be about 8 inches deep. That's 6. That's getting closer. Alright, now I'm going to set my trap. Dog over here, loose jaw over here. That's the way I like to do it. I want it back about 8 inches, the center of the pan from the hole. So it's going to want to be right about there. And I always prefer, if possible, run this stake straight under the loose jaw to give it support. So I'll position it. Stake. I believe that single stake will hold a coyote, so I'll stop there with it. Put my loop on, tighten it down, bend it back so it won't relax any. Right through the swivel. Put it around the stake again, tighten it up, bend it back, no relaxing there. Now I need to get my bed dug out. You can kind of look and see where you're going to need it to be, and then cut it out. You can actually do this before you drive your first stake if you want to. Sometimes it works better that way. Alright, I'm going to look again, see where I'm going. Looks like I'm getting there. Sometimes I'll hammer it down where my spring levers are going. That just seems to give it a good solid point to rest on. Levers are still a little high. Yeah, we're getting there. That looks pretty good. Gives my levers a pretty solid base. Now all I got to worry about is packing under there. A lot of times I like to sift my dirt off to the side and then just put it around my trap. Control where it goes a little better that way, and then start packing. I've got this set for a northwest wind, so the wind should be coming this way. The little road right behind me. Hopefully that the coyotes or bobcats will come through on. They'll smell this trap. A lot of times I'll set two traps on each side of the road. I'll set one for different winds. One to be maybe a northwest wind, and the other a southeast in case the front comes through and the wind changes around. So I'm still working if a cold front or low front comes through and changes my wind direction. Levers are good, back's good, a little bit more. Okay, going to get some salt on it because it's going to be 13 degrees tonight. This is potassium chloride, which I prefer, and it's in flake form, which powdered would be better, but use what you can find. A lot of times I'll get ice stuff from the Home Depot or something, ice melt. Sometimes you have to deal with what you got. Sodium chloride, regular table salt, is my last choice. One thing, it seems to corrode a lot more. The traps, even though they're waxed heavily, it also seems to freeze quicker. It has a higher freeze point, and I think it would probably freeze pretty bad at 13 degrees. All of the salts will absorb moisture out of the air. You can see nothing's moving anywhere. If you want to use a trapper's cap, go and get it on there. Maybe put a little more salt on before you cover it up. Be a wet spot when I come back in the morning, even no matter how cold it is, because that's the moisture that'll be absorbed out of the air by that salt. But that doesn't seem to bother them either. So now I want to get it all really packed. I don't want to be able to feel those jaws under there. I don't want to feel any part of that trap. Alright, pack a little on one side, pack a little on the other side, keeps from shoving your trapper's cap sideways, which makes it go off. The trap go off, and then you've got to reset and rebed and everything. Want the ground around it to be fairly level. I don't really want them stepping up on a mound. I want everything to be pretty solid. See if I can pull this off without firing it. Alright, and then you got to kind of pack back down around it. You will get caught a few times, but it'll be alright. You'll make it. If you do get trap on you, a lot of times you can use one lever you can get with your hand and the other one too or something. You just have to work it out. You can use your feet if you're pretty flexible. All right, a little pack on the top of the pan. And we're done. Time to bait and lure and put some urine on it. Let's see if we can get a little chaff or something out here. Kind of cover it up, make it look a little bit less conspicuous. Keep the nuts out of there because they'll lock your jaws up. Hickory nuts. Okay. Might guide them just a little bit with some leaves. They don't really like to step on leaves. Okay. Time for the lure. Alright, I've switched to the rubber gloves again. I'm going to set this out to catch any spills that I might have while I'm baiting and luring. Once again, I'm going to use some sort of a lure holder. I think this is rabbit. Rabbit's my favorite. Always use commercial lures anymore. You can use deer meat or something if you want to for a bait. I don't know. I just end up with some of my commercial stuff. It's just easy to deal with, and it's the same all the time. Sometimes I'll take a little leaf and shove down in there, or a ball of hay or something, just so they can't see the bait straight out, so they'll be a little more inquisitive with it, maybe. The red fox urine that I use is usually put it on the backing, not straight down in the hole, kind of like a dog does when he hikes his leg. And there it is, ready to go. Looks pretty good. I blended it in really well. It's packed really tight. I'm on an old road here that goes through there, and this is right inside the edge of one of my fields.